back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk about neuroticism. And neuroticism has been well studied in psychology. And I'm not going to try to define it here because I put two really good definitions in the description below that are going into more detail than I want to go into during this session. But the way that I want to define it is just reactivity in relationships, the way you react to things in your life and in your relationships. And that is really important for us to understand and really important for us to try to manage, because it can determine how satisfied we are in our relationships, and even if we can maintain relationships. If we overreact, people that we're in a relationship with will probably overreact as well, and then it will escalate out of control. Or they might have so much anxiety about approaching us with a problem or an issue or concern that they have to themselves get angry enough to say what it is, and then it can escalate from there. Or people just withdraw from people that that are volatile, that they feel worried about, or they just shrink away. And so I think it's important for us to talk about it. Now, the thing that I really want to point out is that reactivity can trigger mental states. And I want to talk about three of them in particular today. I really just want to talk about how neuroticism and reactivity, I'm using the word interchangeably, show up in relationships. It can have a negative impact on our communication, a negative impact on our relationship, a negative impact on our health. We weren't designed to run up a flight of stairs with each provocation or with each problem that we have. So we can shorten our lifespan, raise our blood pressure, change our physical health. Now, in order to manage reactivity or neuroticism better, we have to be aware of it. And sometimes I think that people are not aware of how reactive they are. I don't think they want to be reactive, but sometimes I think that people don't understand their reactivity and the effect that it has on their relationships. And sometimes we even get into relationships to try to help us avoid being reactive. You know, the honeymoon stage, we're not very reactive, but then when we get into the problem solving stage, we become more reactive, and then we start to see problems. And one of the problems is the way that I react to things in a relationship, or the way that I react to things in my life. But the reason why we may be getting into relationships is so that I have someone to blame for my reactivity. It's your fault. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have to do this. Or I can focus so much outside myself on the other person that it offers me some sense of relief from my own stuff. I don't see myself. And so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about it. But the other thing that's interesting is, as you guys know, I'm very interested in conflict between people. I think there's a lot to be said about the way we have conflict, how well we manage conflict, what conflict can teach us. And so check this out. It's theorized that we all have three main mental states, right? A parent, adult, and a child within us, depending on, our experiences from the past and our relationships determines how developed those ego states are. And so sometimes things can happen and I'll act like my daddy. Or sometimes things will happen and you'll act like your parent, or you'll act like an adult, or you might even act like a child. And it's important to sort of see how those ego states are affecting your life, to be aware of them. In a relationship, I'll give you an example. Let's just say that me and my wife get into a conflict because I didn't call her to tell her I was going to be late coming home. Well, it'd be kind of interesting to figure out what state was I in when I was out. We already talked about me calling her, but what state was I in? Was I childlike, where I just felt like, man, I'm out having a good time. I ain't worried about calling home. I ain't worried about, and then my wife is acting like a parent when I get back home, when she jams me up about it. She doesn't want to be a parent. I don't want to be a child, But that's what we end up fighting over, not necessarily the fact that I didn't call her. That's the stated problem. Under that is how we see each other. How she sees me, how I see her, how I see myself, how she sees herself, and how we see the relationship. And that's why it's so important to understand these mental states, right? And that's why I wanted to bring this up. In order to manage my reactivity, I got to increase my self-awareness. So we got to talk about this. And like I'll give you an example of something else. Like when couples clients call me for therapy, often the first people I see during the session are the children. Their inner children. They're fighting like children. They come to therapy thinking this is a time to tattle to the judge or to the principal. Well, he did this and she did that, like it's a tattle session. But what that is that's their children have been triggered. And the only thing that can improve a relationship, the only ego state that really can improve it, is the adult ego state, where I have to process, I have to step back. Parents can't necessarily process because, they stressed out. They trying to get you to go to bed or take a bath. They can't really, they're too stressed out a lot of times, right? My parents were, at least. And so that's the internal model that I have. So when they come in, they're talking to each other like I'm Judge Judy or something. I need you guys to step back, and we need to strengthen the adult ego state, right? I'll give you another example. The other day I was working with my wife on fixing the tub. And in the middle of it, I morphed into my dad. I started talking to my wife like my dad would talk to me. I was short. I was like giving her some facial expression and some attitude. I wasn't really abusive, but I definitely turned into Eddie Chambers, right? And then I had to go back later and apologize for that. Like my self-awareness was such that I could say, hey, babe, I'm sorry. I morphed into my daddy. And, you just wanted to fix the tub. You didn't really need a diaper change. And, we laughed about it, but she gave me some side eye though. And so reactivity, neuroticism, we all got a level of it, right? And it can contaminate your relationship, shorten your lifespan, shorten your relationships. That's the point that I want to make. I'm going to go into this a little bit more, especially those ego states, the parent, the adult, and the child, that we all have within us that we can respond to life from at any time. And it's important to be aware of those ego states so that we can bring them under our conscious control. The degree to which you can manage your reactivity is the degree to which you can have a successful relationship. If you don't believe me, go in and blow up like a child on your boss and see how long you're on the job. Keep talking to your wife or your partner out the side of your neck and see how long the relationship lasts. So this is very important. And like I say, I'll be giving more information about this. We'll be talking more about this because this is critical for like managing conflict between people. Like I say, get down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Also, let me know what you think about my thumbnails. I'm trying to improve my thumbnail game. Till next time.